Today our topic is how to use Stoicism to overcome fear. Fear is something everyone feels at some point in life. It can be fear of failure, fear of losing something, fear of the unknown, or even fear of death. But fear doesn't have to control us. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us how to face fear and live a calm, strong life. Stoicism is not about hiding emotions or pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about understanding fear and learning how to deal with it in a way that makes us stronger. Let's talk about how Stoicism can help us overcome fear and live a better life. First, let's understand what Stoicism is. Stoicism is a philosophy that started in ancient Greece and later became popular in Rome. It was practiced by people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These philosophers believe that life is full of things we can't control, but we can control how we respond to them. They taught that happiness and peace come from within, not from external things like money, fame, or success. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. This idea is very powerful when it comes to dealing with fear. Fear often comes from things we can't control. For example, we might fear losing a job, getting sick, or being rejected by someone we care about. These things are not completely in our control. Stoicism teaches us to accept this and focus on what we can do. Instead of worrying about losing a job, we can focus on doing our best work every day. Instead of fearing rejection, we can focus on being kind and honest in our relationships. When we focus on what we can control, fear loses its power over us. One important Stoic idea is to prepare for the worst but hope for the best. This doesn't mean we should always expect bad things to happen. It means we should think about what could go wrong and plan how we would handle it. For example, if you're afraid of losing your job, think about what you would do if it happened. Maybe you would look for a new job, learn new skills, or start a small business. By preparing for the worst, you take away some of the fear because you know you can handle it. This is called Premeditatio Malorum in Stoicism, which means premeditation of evils. It's a way to face your fears before they happen. Another Stoic practice is to remind yourself that everything in life is temporary. Fear often comes from holding on too tightly to things we love or value. We fear losing them because we think they will last forever. But Stoicism teaches us that nothing lasts forever. Friends, jobs, health, and even life itself are temporary. This might sound sad at first, but it can actually help us overcome fear. When we accept that everything is temporary, we can appreciate what we have right now without being afraid of losing it. We can enjoy the present moment instead of worrying about the future. Stoicism also teaches us to separate our thoughts from reality. Fear is often based on thoughts, not facts. For example, you might think, what if I fail? Or what if something bad happens? These thoughts can create fear, but they are just thoughts. They are not real until they happen. Stoicism teaches us to question our thoughts and ask, is this true? Is this happening right now? Most of the time, the things we fear never happen. By focusing on what is real and true, we can reduce fear and live more peacefully. Another way Stoicism helps us overcome fear is by teaching us to focus on our own actions and values. Fear often comes from worrying about what others think of us. We might fear being judged, criticized, or rejected. But Stoicism reminds us that we can't control what others think or do. We can only control our own actions and choices. When we focus on living by our values like being honest, kind, and courageous, we stop worrying so much about others' opinions. This makes us stronger and less afraid. Stoicism also teaches us to see challenges as opportunities. Fear often comes from seeing problems as threats. But Stoicism teaches us to see problems as chances to grow and become stronger. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, you can see it as a chance to improve your communication skills and build confidence. If you're afraid of failure, you can see it as a chance to learn and try again. When we change how we see challenges, fear becomes less powerful. One of the most important Stoic ideas is to accept what we can't change. Fear often comes from trying to control things that are out of our control. For example, we can't control the weather, other people's actions, or the past, but we can control how we respond to these things. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we can't change and focus on what we can do. This doesn't mean we should give up or stop trying. It means we should stop wasting energy on things we can't control and use that energy to improve ourselves and our lives. Stoicism also teaches us to practice gratitude. Fear often makes us focus on what we don't have or what we might lose. But gratitude helps us focus on what we do have and what we are thankful for. When we practice gratitude, we feel more content and less afraid. For example, if you're afraid of losing your job, take a moment to be thankful for the skills you have and the opportunities you've had. This doesn't make the fear disappear, but it helps you see the good in your life and feel more balanced. Another Stoic practice is to remind yourself of your own strength. Fear can make us feel weak and powerless, but Stoicism reminds us that we are stronger than we think. We have survived challenges before, and we can survive them again. When you feel afraid, remind yourself of the hard times you've already overcome. This will give you confidence and help you face your fears. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to live in the present moment. Fear often comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past. But the present moment is the only thing that is real. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is happening right now and do our best in this moment. When we live in the present, we stop worrying so much about what might happen or what has already happened. This helps us feel more calm and less afraid. In conclusion, Stoicism is a powerful tool for overcoming fear. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, accept what we can't, and live by our values. It helps us see challenges as opportunities, practice gratitude, and live in the present moment. By using these Stoic practices, we can face our fears with courage and live a more peaceful, fulfilling life. Remember, fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. With Stoicism, we can learn to overcome fear and become stronger, wiser, and more resilient.